So the next part of my golf bag I want to talk to you about is the woods at the top end here. Now these aren't going to change a great deal from last year, but what I'm going to do is show you through what I'm actually going to be playing, but also have a little look at the numbers to see if they need tweaking in any way. So the 5 wood that I've got in the bag for this year and is going to stay in the bag for this year is a Taylor Made RBZ 19 degree 5 wood. You can see there it's got quite a lot of wear and tear from this club. Now this is my absolute go-to club. It's a club that I can get out there a little bit more if I want to, but I can also take a bit off of it, so I can sort of spin it up a little bit and move my yardages around really quite nicely with this club. So the shaft that I've got in this club is just a standard stock shaft that came with the club back in its day. It's an X-Flex. Now I don't really use X-Flex, but for some reason it seems to work for me. Now I'd like to think that most of you kind of have like a go-to club that you would go to in your golf bag, and this one is just something that I can't see me ever wanting to change. I've tinkered around with different hybrids just to see if there's anything else out there on the market that might be able to help it or even improve it, but when you find a club that kind of works for you, I think it's so important to keep it in the golf bag. It's interesting, the thing that I find quite amusing about this club is I found this club in a second-hand bin in a golf shop. I was out in Florida when I was out at university out there, and I can't even remember the date of when I got it. I'm sure that it was pretty close to when these first released, but this particular club was in an Edwin Watch golf shop, and I was in there and it was pretty cheap at the time, and I needed something that I wanted to test out with a 5 wood and just found this one. So the next club is under this little baby. So this one is a Titleist TS3. Now the reason I've got this club is I just absolutely love the look from the top. When I look down at this club, it just gives me so much confidence. It's slightly bigger in its profile compared to some of the other products that are on the market. I had the previous range to this, which was the 917, and I loved that 3 wood, and then I only went to this one purely because it just felt a little bit softer to me off the club face. So this is a 15 degree 3 wood head, but I've got it set in D1 setting, which is standard lie, but it's knocked down by 0.75 degrees, so it's actually a 14.25 strong 3 wood. Now I went to Titleist to get fitted for this particular club, and I ended up in the Project X Hazardous Smoke 6.0 shaft, which is a 70 gram shaft, which is kind of like their stock shaft again for this particular one, but again it just felt right to me when I was hitting it. So because I've got such a good 5 wood in the bag, I feel this is my bombing club. It's something which I want a little bit less loft so I can get a little bit more ball speed off the face, so when I'm coming into par 5s, I've got that little bit more to just get me there to the green if I can. So I mainly use this club off the fairway. It's a kind of a par 5 or a long par 4 that I get into wind or something like that I tend to use this club. It's not very often you'll see me hit it off the tee. And that's not a slight against this particular 3 wood. It's just that over the years I have lost a little bit of confidence off the tee with a 3 wood. I've never really been in a position where I'm hitting lots of 3 woods off the tee to start to build confidence. I'm a very good driver of the golf ball, so my driver is quite a bit of my strength in my game, should we say. So I'd rather hit driver, and if I'm then not hitting driver, well then I've got my 5 wood or even my long iron to put it into position. So just pause the video and just pop your comments down there. Let me know, is a 3 wood a club that you kind of go to on a tee, or is it a club that you maybe hit really well off the fairway but then struggle a little bit off the tee box? Let me know. And then last but not least, the driver. TS3 9.5 driver set in A1 setting. Standard setting. Now I got fitted for this driver when I went up to Titleist just like I did with the 3 wood. The same shaft I was fitted into the 6.0 Hazardous Project S Smoke shaft. Now, over the time of when I've been playing with it, I've actually moved the shaft slightly. So I've now got the 5.5 shaft. It just felt slightly better for me, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So what I've been working on very hard for the last probably 2 years now is trying to get the ball a little bit more up in the air. So I need to launch it up in the air a little bit better. Now, for me to help me do that, what I've needed to try and feel like I'm doing, and this is something that might be able to help your game as well back down there, is getting the club to feel like it releases a bit earlier down into the golf ball. I was always getting to the position where I was kind of almost keeping the handle a little bit too far forward, which was getting my strike a little bit low in the face, but also it enabled me to hit down on the golf ball too much. Now for a driver, I've got to get the feeling like I'm hitting up on it. And by going into a shaft that I felt was just a fraction softer, it just enabled me to give me a bit more time to feel like I can let the club head catch up with my hands coming through. And why the TS head? Well, it gave me the best spin at the time. It's also a visual thing for me, so I just felt like I just enjoyed looking at that sort of, again, softer, more rounded looking head, let's say compared to the TS2, which I was testing with it. It just gives me the look and, more importantly, feel off the face that I want. And that's the reason why the TS3 is in there. So I've hit some shots with all those clubs. Let's just look at the numbers and just see where we are at with these clubs at this point in my game. If we look at my 5-wood to start off with, let's just go to yardage straight off the bat. Let's look at it. 218 on an average, but you can see there, first two shots I caught a little bit skinny, so a little bit low in the face, which I lost a few yards because of that. But you can see that I can get it up there into that sort of 225 mark. So I've got some power in that 5-wood that works really, really well for me. Then we move up into the 3-wood, and I used to carry my 3-wood around sort of 230, but because I've cranked it forward slightly, I'm able just to get it a little bit more out there, just getting that fraction more ball speed off the face. Average carry there 237, so it's a pretty good gap between 5-wood and into 3-wood. And you can see there 245 is my best, so blending in from 225 into my lowest there at 231, you can see there that they can start to bunch up a little bit, but if I get them both right, I can get a good sort of 20-yard distance between them. Then we go up into my driver, and if you can see there, my driver average carry of 273, and the best one there, just getting a bit more turn on it, was 281 carry. So spin wise there at 2688, so that for some people might seem a little high in the spin, but this is a gaming club. This is something that I play with in tournaments. I'm not just out there trying to hit the longest tee shot I can hit. I need to find something that I can put into the fairway, and when I spin it just that little bit higher, between 2.5 and 2.8 is what I'm kind of looking for. So 2.6, 2.7 is pretty much spot on for me. I can play the best golf with that club. To be honest with you, I don't need to change anything. I do keep an eye on these from time to time, so I don't really need to change anything in these clubs. So there you have the top end of my bag going in for 2020. Confidence for me is everything. I still play in competition, so I've got to find something in my golf bag that's going to work for me when I get on the golf course. Remember, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you give that bell a little ring, you'll also get some notifications of any new videos coming through. I also want to know what type of content you want from us here at Torquay Golf Club. Do you want to see more club reviews? Do you want to see us more on the golf course? It's a bit wet at the moment, but put your comments down there. Thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.